So it looks like both VeggieTales spin-offs have left Netflix. Okay, I get it. Many of you hated how the show looked, or how fast-paced it was, or the new voice actors, or the style of humor, or the way they communicate biblical values, or whatever. If that's how you feel, I've got no beef with you. Having worked on a couple of reboots, I kinda just think that's the nature of the beast.
Come on up here, Oscar Proud, and get your first big old bag of money, y'all. A big old bag of money.
Regardless, VeggieTales is near and dear to my heart. So, after 30 years of content, for something to impress me, well, I'm gonna share it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the SDA Storyteller, and I'm going to review Episode 9, Season 1 of VeggieTales in the House, Liemonade. Sports games generally suck. However, it seems Larry's the only veggie without a copy of Baseball 3 Billion.
I'll bet Pa Grape doesn't have it either.
On level 47.
Desperate to get this game, he begs his roommate Bob for cash, but settles on starting a lemonade stand instead, which overwhelmingly fails.
How much money did you make?
30 cents. Not bad, eh?
Undeterred, Larry inflates both the price and his sales pitch, promoting the fantastical and fictional abilities of this wonder drink.
Will it help me move objects with my mind so I can get girls to like me a lot?
You need Red Bull, the energy drink.
With this new pitch, Larry can finally purchase his game from Pa Grape, but only after he throws down some yellow liquid on his fans, in the style of a certain R&B singer.
I didn't do this stuff.
What are you talking about?
This is not me.
However, he quickly loses interest in this game, as the guilt from ripping all his friends off sours his experience. He plans to alleviate his guilt by running a video game tournament from his home.
I've got the perfect plan to get rid of my guilty feelings.
Apologize to your friends?
No, we should invite them over to play Baseball 3 Billion, and everyone wins.
Again, no one is interested. Seems like people really hate his guts.
I'm not even in this episode.
Larry figures the only way to fix the damage he's done is to offer refunds.
Refund? What's wrong with it?
Oh, and Ickabeezer tries to steal the lemonade secret recipe, but that story doesn't really have a conclusion. Okay, I get it. If you think that maybe this episode doesn't sound so special, but consider this.
Listen up, my friends. Are you feeling down in the dumps?
The song Larry's Lemonade Plus is inspired by the Music Man track, You Got Troubles.
Right here in River City. With a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool.
In which a con man tries to convince the people of, I think the town's called Riverton, that their kids are up to no good, in order for him to, well, rip them all off. I think that's genius. If you don't know that song, maybe you're more familiar with the Simpsons episode, Marge versus the Monorail, where a con man tries to convince the people of Springfield that they need, well, a monorail.
Take it from us. It's a drink we trust. We love this stuff. We can never get enough of Larry's Lemonade Plus.
Larry does a great honor to this hilarious but upbeat song, wearing the same type of con man styled straw hat and carrying a cane and getting everyone to dance with him. It's filled with gags.
Will this drink help us win? I'd be lying if I said it wouldn't, my friend. How about when I'm feeling blue? Lemonade Plus will see you through.
Will it help me move objects with my mind so I can get girls to like me a lot?
Great posing as Larry moves from either sly to excited to confused. Oh, it is so much fun. Even the final pose, where everyone has their money in front of Larry, just makes me smile. That's gotta be a meme. Now here's the real question. Does this kind of change Larry's character? I don't think so. Like if you look at King George and the Ducky, this poor cucumber is not really evil, he just gets kinda carried away.
Are you the only one you think about?
No. I've been thinking about this ducky for quite some time now. Since Thomas has lost his marbles, he won't be needing it.
Will you send him
by the devil?
No, good sir, I'm on the level.
In 30 years, VeggieTales has gotten to a weird space. You can only tell so many stories about virtues before you end up repeating virtues. Tim Hodge kind of addressed this in my interview with him.
There's only so many stories I think you could do. Even when we were doing VeggieTales in the House, we kept, even though we get a new verse to feature each episode, it was the same lesson.
And I'd be lying if I didn't acknowledge that, hey, this is kind of backtracking. Most notably, if you look back to Larry Boy and the Fib from Outer Space, in which
The monster is alive!
Oh my!
but the stakes are almost insanely high in that episode. A literal reading of such a story would have one thinking that their lies could manifest and destroy a city, swallow a superhero, and, well, come from outer space? Yeah, now, obviously, even the youngest of children can understand it's a metaphor. Where Junior is motivated originally by self-preservation, you know, the fear that telling the truth would actually make things worse, Larry is motivated by a desire to extort his friends, using their gullibility to achieve his goal. Like Junior, they both amplify and adapt their untruths to fit their goals. But unlike Junior, Larry actually succeeds, because all he needed was their cash. And once he got it, well, he could go and buy his game. I really like this approach in teaching the lesson because rather than there being karma or a supernatural element, Larry actually wrestles with the social cost of his actions. Junior probably goes home to his loving parents, and I guess the city has to address all of the citywide damage. But Larry falls lower in his standing with his community than he was at the beginning, for something that he didn't even really want. Wait, did I not address that already? Larry didn't even want this game.
I can't shrug any harder.
When he first sees the game, he thinks it's cool, but it's not until he's called an outsider by Jerry Gore does he, 1, figure out that truth makes him seem lame, and 2, make the game a priority, his ticket to leveling up socially.
Outsider. I just told the truth, and now I feel left out. Maybe I should try something else next time.
What Larry wants isn't the game, it's acceptance. And we know this because once he gets the game and is playing it alone, he's riddled with guilt. Then, to top that, his solution is to assume that they all want acceptance and invite his community to play in a game tournament, which ultimately shows that the cost he paid wasn't the money that he had taken from his friends, but it was their friendship and trust. This is a more in-depth lesson than Fib, as it kind of addresses the fact that when we lie, we're not just getting away with things. We're risking our relationships.
I don't know. What about Laura?
Oh, she'll be fine. Remember, a little fib couldn't hurt anybody.
And it all falls in line with the verse in Matthew chapter 16, verse 26, which says, "What good will it be for someone to gain the world, yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul?" Okay, this was a lot of praise. Let's not ignore that this episode was, well, weird. It's also kind of a weird show, so maybe it all fits in. Doug TenNapel, the writer of this episode, and of course the director of all these VeggieTales episodes, takes a very different approach to VeggieTales than Phil Vischer and Mike did. Having done shows like Earthworm Jim or Cat Scratch, as well as many video games, his comedy is rather fast, and his storytelling doesn't always, well, wrap up in a satisfying way. What I mean is, let me give you an example. When Larry proposes that he's going to lie to all of his friends about the abilities of this lemonade, Bob's response seems uncharacteristic.
Maybe if I tell him that it's special lemonade, then everybody will want to buy it. What?
More the way the writing frames it than his actual response. In a regular VeggieTales episode, they'd either have Bob correct Larry, and then Larry ignore him.
We can't just barge in and take Thomas's duck.
Why not?
Well, he'll tell people, and then everyone will think you're gonna come in and take their stuff. You can't run a kingdom that way.
Or they'd have Larry misunderstand Bob's message and somehow justify his actions to fit what he was already doing.
Oh, I feel just terrible.
Oh, that's all right. I still have time for my bath.
However, in this episode, they just kind of cut Bob off. So we're left thinking, did Bob just not finish his thought when he and Larry went home that night? Or did they just stand there and wait till the sun comes up in silence? The other unconnected plot point is Ickabeezer's whole side adventure, looking for Larry's secret formula. There's really no conclusion. He breaks into Larry's home, he steals the recipe, he finds out that Larry's Lemonade Plus is not special, and then never comes back into the story. He doesn't even get his money back at the end like the other characters. You'd think this was building up to him exposing Larry, or maybe leading a mob to Larry's door. I don't know, it felt like a waste. Doug also does a bunch of really weird, uncanny comedy. Like Laura speaks really strangely, and this could be an animator's choice, this could be a director's choice, I'm not totally sure, but she stares right at the screen and delivers her dialogue.
Baseball 3 Billion is my favorite game. Everyone loves it. I play it all the time. Don't you, Larry?
These robots are freaking me out.
It's weird. In contrast to that, I will say this, some of the gags in this episode, if not all the gags in this episode, really flowed well. It was all on rapid fire. It was joke after joke after joke. And if you're doing rapid fire, eventually something should hit. And it did. I'd say maybe they got a 70% accuracy rate with their jokes. Come on, this gag is right out of SpongeBob.
Larry, you said that Larry's Lemonade Plus would make my eyes visible. And look! So far, my eyes still seem invisible. I'm pretty sure you just lied to get my $20.
Oh, I also want to mention, I love the little jab of Larry giving Jerry Gord the side eye. Jerry, who had called him an outsider, Larry returns the favor by calling him a nerd. That's kind of clever.
Outsider, if you're lazy or a nerd.
Finally, on things I don't like, the Bible verse was really vague. I think it's Colossians chapter 3 verse 9, which says, "Do not lie to each other, since you have taken off your old self with its practices."
The Bible says, do not lie to each other.
I'm pretty sure something like My Little Pony can say the exact same thing, and nobody would assume it was the Bible. The lack of exploration of this verse kind of kills the message for me. I understand this was kind of toned down a bit for the sake of a mass audience, but then don't put the Bible verse. I don't know, it feels too vague. But I will say this, I did like the song that wrapped up the whole story, so there you go. Something bad, something good. In conclusion, if you like musicals, this episode's for you. If you like edgy, silly humor, this episode's for you. If you like classic VeggieTales, there's a good message if you squint a little bit. It's short. You're not gonna miss the 11 minutes you take watching this episode. If you could watch one episode of VeggieTales in the House, this one would be my suggestion. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. This is the SDA Storyteller asking you to like, comment, subscribe. I could use more subscribers. SDA Storyteller, out.
Pretty sure you just lied to get my $20.
But you helped me sell it. You were singing the song right along with me.
You're a bad influence on my otherwise sterling character.
That's cold.